Hi, Tom Trento here with our series, The Wizard of K Street, an investigative look at Grover Norquist, that super lobbyist who is not the super conservative that he makes himself out to be, but indeed, folks, an ideological, critical word, ideological enemy of the state. Hi, I'm Tom Trento. The name for this episode is
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Okay, time's up.
If, of course, you're Grover Norquist, because he doesn't have to pay the time. Only folks around him go to prison. And we'd like to take a little diversion from the investigation right now of Grover Norquist, an exposition of his dealings as a lobbyist, and touch on one of the principles that we've been focusing on in our series. That individual is Jack Abramoff. As you know, Jack was central to the Mariana situation we've spoken about over the past couple of weeks. We're going to see Jack involved with the Indian casino scandals, the Sun Cruises in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to look into all of this. But on a positive note, and by way of our desire here at the United West, we do these investigative reports, but it's always good to see when somebody learns their lesson and heads in the right direction. And jumping ahead, eventually Jack was arrested for his criminal behavior. He was sent to court, tried, convicted, sentenced, and went to prison. Spent almost 4 years in prison. He's out. And from what we hear from others and what we read about Jack, he has been rehabilitated. He sees the error of his ways, and his desire now is to rectify the situation.
I'm ashamed of the fact I was there. The very reason why now I'm speaking about it, and now I'm trying to do something in recompense, is the fact that I thought it was wrong of me to do it.
But Jack, a suggestion as you move to, in your rehabilitation and an effort to rectify the situation on the Hill, you might want to pull out a Bible and share it with your friend Grover Norquist. And if you take your Bible out, why don't you turn to Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, because that's a perfect verse that is descriptive of what happened to you, Jack, and a verse that's very descriptive of what could happen to Grover. And maybe if you share a little bit with your friend, he can avoid the path that you took. But the verse is very simple. It reads, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Our prayer, Jack, is that you may be effective and successful in your work, help restore this country to its conservative roots. And folks, we're going to continue our investigation of Grover next week. And right now, we want you to go to a critically important website. It's entitled grovermustgo.org. Grovermustgo.org has a tremendous amount of data and evidence that we're laying out. Go there. Tom Trento. We'll see you next week in our next episode in our continuing The Wizard of K Street investigative microseries.